evening. Welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. It is today at the World Cup. I'm your host tonight, Matt, stepping in for one half of the dynamic always here duo of Chris and Kev. But Kev's drawn the short straw again. He does another show. How are you, Kev?
I'm good. Not too bad. Midweek now. We're nearly at hump day. Hump day is tomorrow. Get over tomorrow and then we can start looking towards the weekend again. Another day closer to when Liverpool are playing, which is good. But yeah, no. All good. All good. Last 16 games, last of them tonight. And really good. You know, it was some good games, but I don't think bar one, no real massive shocks. You know, and I don't I looked at today's game, to be fair, with Morocco beating Spain 3-0 in penalties. Wasn't a massive shock. You know what I mean? It was a surprise, yeah, because it's Morocco's first time getting into the quarterfinals. But in truth, Spain had the one really good win against Costa Rica. But other than that, they've looked pretty toothless all the way through. And as it proved today, they had all the ball side to side, moving side to side and side to side again. And they just had no cutting edge. You know, it was like watching Barcelona without a striker, without someone up front, like without Suarez.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that type of game. It was painful to watch at times. But then tonight, then Portugal, wow. You know, I was impressed with Portugal, it really was. Switzerland were poor, but I think they were made to look poor. Portugal scored 6, but yeah, manager made some big calls, big decisions, but got them right, and they were clinical tonight. They were really good.
Yeah, they certainly put their chances away. They didn't seem to really take the foot off the gas too much against the poor Swiss, who kind of were put to the sword by Portugal tonight. So
really were.
it sets us up with some pretty tasty quarterfinal games to look forward to. You know, Morocco being kind of the outlier in there, but other than that, the other 7 teams, you look at them, and those are all teams that you probably would have had, you know, in your bracket for a final 8 when you were doing a prediction before the tournament.
I think look, you look back at I think back to the shows I did with Gav doing before the World Cup. The disappointing ones were really Denmark, Serbia, Germany. Expected a lot more out of those 3.
Belgium.
I mean, Germany were always, you know, you had something over them that it just didn't look right without a proper striker. You know, they were always looked like they might. They were capable of falling apart, but you know they're Germany, so you expect them to do something. But expected so much more from Denmark. But to not even come out of the group, that was just a big surprise. Serbia, again, the only time they were able to get their 2 main strikers on the pitch was at the end, and it just wasn't enough. They gambled on taking players who weren't match fit, and it didn't pay off. But yeah, the ones that got through, I mean, bar Spain, you're looking at probably 7 countries, all with a real credible argument that are capable of going and win it. You know, all they got to do is put 3 results together. That's all it is. You know, and that's all you are now. You're at a stage where from quarterfinals on, anything can happen. And you look through the games and you can make arguments for all of them. We'll go through them all one by one in a minute, but there's serious arguments there for all of these quarterfinals to open up and have a right go at this. It's just a case of who's going to be brave enough on the day to take their chances. That's what it's going to come down to in the end. There's not much really between all of the countries that are left in it. You know, Portugal will be delighted with the way their draw is opened up now, with Spain being knocked out, and you have Morocco. Morocco carrying injuries into that game against Portugal. See what happens with Roman Saiz. He could be a massive miss. If he's missing, Portugal look like they could run amok. But at the same time, they've looked good all the way through Morocco. So that's going to be the one that you'd say you'd nearly put the mortgage on Portugal getting through that one because of the depth that they have. But the rest of them, the other 3, are anything can happen. They don't include England and France in that. Anything can happen in that game. There's no guaranteed shoe-ins. And that's what makes it interesting. It's I mean, the first one up is Argentina. The first one's up is Brazil and Croatia, isn't it? 3:00.
I believe
Friday.
so, yeah.
Yeah, 3:00 Friday, Brazil and Croatia. Croatia, you look at it and they're like probably the most boring ones in it. They're just like plodding along, happy-go-lucky, steady eddies all of the way through. But they're just getting the job done. And you look at when they won their penalty shootout, they were clinical in their penalties. And they're confident in their ability to get it to penalties. They didn't look in any danger of conceding, even with Lovren at the back. It's like they were confident in that the midfield could carry them through. Whether that midfield can carry them through against what I watched in Brazil yesterday, don't know.
Yeah, for me, I think this is probably the easiest one to call, because I give a lot of respect to Morocco, and we'll talk about them later, just simply being in Canada's group and watching them just that little bit more. But Croatia, also coming out of Canada's group, I thought were poor. I thought they were slow. Yeah, deserved runners-up in the group, but even if they hadn't have gone through, you wouldn't have been, extremely surprised by it, given the way that they played. And Brazil have been strong. And I mean, Brazil have strength and depth. You're able to bring your third string keeper in for, a cameo appearance. That speaks to something for the strength of your team going through it. And they just have speed and goal scoring. And that's something that Croatia, to me, seems to be lacking.
Massively. I mean, the thing is, when you look at the Brazil with the lineup, the way they're playing almost like a 4-2-4 with Neymar in a free role.
Yeah.
Richarlison in that target man role, number 9, can get in behind. He can hold it up. He can bring others into play. You're playing with two proper wingers in Vinicius and Rafinha. Both players were pressing like mad as well. They were proper pressing off the ball, the work rate off the ball to enable having someone like Neymar in the side, because that's what you have to do. If you're playing with someone like Neymar who ain't going to do the donkey work, he's technically brilliant on the ball and he can create something out of nothing, but he ain't going to do the donkey work. Your wingers have to do it. And they've left their egos at the door. And Vinicius and Rafinha are working their nuts off. And they're harassing sides. They're not letting sides pick up their heads and play. And Croatia need that. Croatia need to be able to pick their head up, play balls, play through the lines, and Brazil won't allow them to do that. And in Casemiro, he's been outstanding. And it's easy to see why Brazil favor playing him over Fabinho in that lone midfield role, because his intelligence, being in the right place at the right time to cut balls out is brilliant, and it's consistent. And he's been consistently doing it for years. And his distribution is good. He's strong on the ball. He gets into the box late as well for the odd shot here and there. But defensively, he allows everyone else to play off him. He's brilliant. And I hate the fact that he's at Manchester United, because I hoped he'd blow up, but he just won't. He's just that good. And it's horrible to see him in the Premier League at that club. But in a Brazil shirt, he's brilliant at what he does. And credit to him. The thing is, you got to look at, I suppose, at the back, they're carrying Knox at fullback, big time. They're managing the minutes now for Militao, bringing on Dani Alves and playing Danilo at left back, because Alexandro, he's out of the squad. Gabby Jesus out the squad as well, but it just doesn't look like it's phased them in any way. Militao stepped in at right back. You got Marquinhos and Thiago Silva, who's just brilliant at reading the ball. And Danilo stepping in at left back is just rock solid, knows the job inside out, and he's comfortable in his own skin to be able to play left back or right back equally as good. So
you watch more of the games than I have. Like Brazil, they got wins against Serbia, Switzerland, Korea in the knockouts. They lost to Cameroon in kind of a dead rubber final group game. Has anybody really gone at them? Like,
No.
Like, has any of their opponents attacked them enough that you can be like, ooh, there might be a weakness there?
No, they haven't been able to sustain the ball long enough to be able to get at them in a sustained way. Anytime, even in the other night when Korea were able to not camp out in their final third, but build up play enough so they could get men forward. The fear always was that if they got the break in play, Rafinha was gone, Vinicius was gone, and Richarlison was there to link that play up, and Neymar was there to slide players in. If you're playing against this Brazil side and you decide to go for broke, they'll crucify you on the counter. Whereas if you sit in and try to nullify them, you can do that for a while, and you might even be able to do it for an hour. But eventually, they'll tire you out. They'll mentally break you down to a point where even their midfielders, as someone said in the chat there, Bruno Guimaraes comes off the bench. You got Paqueta. I haven't even talked about him. You know, they might just say, okay, you're going to sit in and camp in. Fine. We're playing a front four. Neymar makes it a front five. We'll add Paqueta to make it a front six. We'll use our fullbacks to tuck in with Casemiro to tuck you in. And eventually we'll do something. Eventually someone will do something and they'll just get a goal. The question's going to come when they go behind, if someone is good enough to get ahead of them. And then you'll see things, see what pressure, what things, with pressure and stuff. Can that cause them a problem? But at the minute, they're the standout side of the tournament.
Yeah, and they've certainly played that way. I mean, none of the teams that they played really, like when I think of the 11s that they're putting out, are blessed with a ton of speed on the counterattack sort of thing. Not quite like what you're seeing with, England, France, Argentina, Netherlands. Like everybody seems to have at least one player that's capable of breaking the lines, because it's a pretty old defense that Brazil has out there. I mean, veterans, they all know what they're doing. But I mean, Thiago Silva, even Marquinhos.
Ashley makes a great point there. Even if you get through all of them, you still got Alisson Becker in goal. And Korea had chances. Korea forced Ali to make some really good saves, 2 or 3 really good saves. But he made them. And he made them comfortably. He wasn't scrambling or anything like that. It was really good, proper saves that you expect the best keeper in the world to make. That's what I think is the difference between a France and a Brazil. Is Hugo Lloris will give you chances. Alisson Becker won't.
Yeah.
That's, for me, that's the difference between the two countries. Both sides are looking really good, really clinical. On the ball, off the ball, their work rates, everything about the two sides is very, very close. They both play a very similar style, very similar type of players in the positions they're playing them in. But I think the difference in the two sides is the keepers. Lloris has been all right in the tournament, but Becker has been levels. It's levels. It really is.
Yeah, it's, as a Liverpool fan, I mean, I think it's fantastic.
Oh, we're completely biased, man.
But I mean, I love the fact that the whole world is having to say, Alisson Becker might be the best goalkeeper in the world. Like having to hear pundits say that, of like, it's got a really nice ring to it, because we've known it for years. Had to deal with this bullshit Ederson-Alisson debate from a couple years ago. And it's like, do you watch them play? Like, it's not even close. Like,
no. And look, Ederson is a very good goalkeeper. Yeah.
Ederson, he's a perfectly fine goalkeeper, but with his feet, he's unbelievable. But in terms of shot stopping and shutting down from the back, being commanding from corners, like everything that Alisson does, it's just, it's levels ahead. There was the stat guy that does all the goalkeeper stats. I can't remember his name, Jonathan something or other. He was up on some podcast last year and showing that, like, if you can measure it out, and he tried to do that, of like, Alisson's worth like 7 goals a season more than the next best keeper in the league, sort of thing, in terms of what he brings to the team. Fantastic. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to do predictions, but I certainly think that Brazil's going to sail through that game pretty easy. I have a tough time seeing Croatia scoring.
Yeah, that's the thing. Croatia's midfield, look, they're really good players. Brozovic, Modric, your man at Chelsea, what's his name? Kovacic, yeah. The three of them, they're competent, really good central midfielders. But I think the 120 minutes that they played in the last round and the quick turnaround in games is, It's literally you play, you rest, you recover, you go again. I think Brazil just have too much. They just have too many options, and I don't think Croatia have enough answers. I'd say 3-0, but you could see something more. You
That
genuinely
was
could.
exactly the scoreline I was thinking of. The one thing Croatia might have going for it is you said 120 minutes, but Kovacic, Modric, and Perisic were all taken off in the first 90. So I guess they got a little lucky right there. And Thor, I do not really listen to Peter Schmeichel all that much. He was on the radio for, I think, the last Denmark game. He was on the BBC radio, and not great.
No, he was basically saying that Alisson he's an average goalkeeper. He does the things that goalkeepers are expected to do, nothing more. He's just he just had his Manchester United, Manchester City head on, and couldn't bring himself to a bit reality. It's sad to see, but I'm sorry. He may no longer be the best goalkeeper to have played in the Premier League.
Yeah, that might be a better.
That's a question to be asked. It's a question to be talked about when Alisson eventually does leave us in the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, winner of Brazil, Croatia go on to play the winner of Netherlands v Argentina. This should be a good game.
Clash of styles, because the Dutch aren't playing like the Dutch.
Nope.
They're playing the complete opposite of what you expect from a Dutch side.
Very reserved.
Extremely conservative. Extremely frustrating to watch because you see the quality that they have. It frustrates living daylights out of me seeing Virgil as the center of a back three when you can see all he wants to do is sharpen his elbows and push players forward. But look, Argentina are so over-dependent on Leo Messi.
Yes.
That I think if you can keep him quiet, and that'll be difficult. Messi is Messi, and he will create chances. But I think if the Netherlands can keep him quiet for long enough, they'll get enough chances on the counter to be to get in and get chances. And in Otamendi, if you're putting Otamendi against Gakpo and Depay, then they will get chances.
Yeah,
Dutch will get chances. The one change I would love to see the Dutch make is Malacia to come in for Daley Blind to offer pace and strength and running ability on both wings. But for experience on that left-hand side, to double up on Messi, Daley Blind is probably the one he will stick with. It's going to be such a clash of styles. It's going to be like if you're, it's boxer versus puncher. But it's not going to be that clash of styles that creates a great game. I think Argentina will dominate the ball, and the Dutch. The difference in this game could be if Argentina go ahead. We'll see then what Van Gaal can do, because if the Dutch fall behind, are they capable of clawing it back? That's the test. We don't know. But at the same time, Argentina nullify Messi. Keep an eye on Alvarez. Obviously, Alvarez is going to be Alvarez is one to watch for sure. I think Lautaro Martinez has been absolutely shocking.
Really bad, yeah.
Yeah, he'll just take one look at Virgil and he'll run the other way. We know what he does. It's
flashbacks to San Siro.
Yeah, he'll just have nightmares. And I think the Netherlands win, but I don't think it's going to be one for the. It's not going to be a flashback to the clashes that you've seen in the past between the Netherlands and Argentina. Where you could see like the Dennis Bergkamp goal, and you're seeing Johan Cruyff against Mario Kempes, and those type of games. I think this one is going to be Dutch stubbornness will win out against Argentina hard-headedness, and it's literally going to be two clashes of styles and who's going to come out on top. De Jong is key. If De Jong gets on the ball consistently enough, he can dictate play from deep, but credit where it's due. Van Gaal is stuck to what he thinks will win the tournament. He knows it's not popular. He knows that the Dutch public aren't entertained by watching this. But he also knows that his strength, the Dutch strength that they do have, is at the back. Yeah. They have 3 centre-backs. You've Colossus and Virgil, and you've got 2 centre-backs either side of him that are brimming with pace and can play. They're ball-playing centre-backs in Timber and Ake. Yeah, they're both capable of bringing the ball out from the back. Daley Blind is the interesting one for me, because normally when you're playing that 5-3-2, you need your wing backs to provide you width and be able to overlap. And they have that in Dumfries. Denzel Dumfries is a phenomenal wing back, to be honest. I think he's right up there with one. Yeah, he's right up there with one of the best wing backs in world football. Yeah, I don't think he's a fullback. I think he is a proper wing back. Daley Blind is just like your steady Eddie. He'll do a job for you. You can rely on him. And do you know what? Every team, I suppose, needs that in it as well. You can't have 11 show ponies. You have to have some, as Didier Deschamps was for France, you have to have the water carrier, someone to do the ugly stuff. And from what I'm looking at Holland, nobody's really stressed them out too much. They've just gone about their work. He's fought with everyone in the media, as he does. But here they are in the quarterfinal, and I think they'll be into a semifinal.
Yeah. Yeah, G10 there says Netherlands have a lot of ordinary, overrated, and or over-the-hill players. I mean, that's another way of describing water carriers, really. I'm thinking of their lineup. Daley Blind, he's, probably in that over-the-hill.
David Klaassen is another one.
Klaassen. So, I mean, you're probably looking at a midfield 3 of De Jong, for sure, and then Berghuis and who? De Roon?
De Roon, yeah. But they're effective. David Klaassen will probably be. Koopmeiners is another one. But they're all steady Eddie jobbers, De Jong is a class player. De Jong is a really good footballer. David Klaassen is a good player who just didn't work for him in the Premier League. But he went into a shithole that was Everton at the time.
You know what they have? They have a team of Gini Wijnaldum midfielders for the most part. With the exception of Frankie de Jong, they have a bunch of little Gini Wijnaldums.
Yeah.
And, that's a winning formula. And it's what you were saying with Van Gaal of, saying, I think this is how we're going to win this tournament. That's all you have to do. You're not here to make friends or win fans or anything like that.
No.
He's here to win this tournament. This will be his swan song sort of thing.
Mate, given what he's gone through in the last 12 months, I can't think of anything. Yeah, I can't think of anyone more deserving in sport.
Harry Kane probably thinks he's more deserving, but other than that.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, the guy has fought cancer, for God's sake. And he went from chemotherapy to training. I couldn't think of anything more fitting for his career. Bearing in mind what he's been through as a Dutch manager, as well as what he's done in club football for the Dutch. So often the bridesmaid to pull one off, to really pull it off. Bearing in mind that they've given their goalkeeper his competitive debut at a World Cup. I mean, what the hell? That's just like nuts. That's not done. And he's just done it. You know what I mean? He's unique.
What's he gonna do at this point? Lose the job? Oh well,
I'll cope.
This is his, Johnny Cash American album. It's one last chance to go into the studio and do what he does best. But I mean, Argentina, they've been in some interesting games. Lots of goals in their games. They've been scoring 2 goals a game, it seems like. Yeah. It all just comes down to whether Lionel Messi can have something magic come from him, because it seems like there's this absolute choke point in getting the ball from back to front for Argentina where it has to go through him at some point.
Yeah. I mean, De Paul has started to improve. He needed to. He just hadn't shown up at the start of the tournament. I think they're better with Di Maria not in the side. Mm-hmm. I think if you play Di Maria, you lose a midfielder. I think without Di Maria in the side, you can stiffen up the midfield a bit. That probably gives De Paul a bit more license and a bit more freedom. Enzo Fernandez has been the star find for them. Anyone who's been watching Liverpool transfer gossip knows Enzo Fernandez from the summer. And he's another one, as Shawnee would say, he's having the kind of year that we hoped he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And he's having the kind of World Cup that we hoped he wouldn't. But the world knows him now. And exactly, G10 is making a great shot there. McAllister is playing really well as well. Again, a midfield full of what you call jobbers. Acuna, left back. I can't remember the right backs now. It's Milano or something like that. I can't remember. But you look at the two centre backs, Otamendi and Romero, and I'm looking at what the Dutch have going forward in Depay and Gakpo and thinking, yeah, they can be got at for sure, especially if the Dutch concede the ball, which will probably be their best bet, is concede the ball. Molina, that's him. Thanks, Jeremiah. But yeah, it's if you can isolate Otamendi and get Gakpo or Depay on him, or better yet, bring Bergwijn off the bench 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
A proper pace merchant, then, I fancy the Dutch to go through in that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me as well. I can see it being give me 3-2 to the Netherlands. That's what I think.
That'd be bound to be game. That'd be a mental game.
Bound to be some good games in here. Yeah. And then the Portugal Morocco, a little bit of across the Strait of Gibraltar derby. And this is I went through the World Cup top 10 rankings just before we went on here and just wrote them down. And I mean, like Netherlands 8, Argentina 3, England 5, France 4, Croatia's 12, Brazil's number 1, Portugal 9th, Morocco 22nd. So, none of these 8 teams are outside of the top 25 in the world, according to the FIFA Dodgy rankings. But this is the lowest ranked one, but probably the least predicted out of any of these quarterfinals.
Yeah, but we were talking about it when this round was drawn. That Morocco-Spain game was the one game that we all thought, yeah, something could happen there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of the Moroccan lads that ply their trade in Spain, and they're playing at a decent level. Like Bono, really good keeper. Then you've got the fullbacks, one at PSG, one at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Mazraoui and
Hakimi. Ziyech is a really good footballer. We know he's a good footballer. We see what he does, and all of it, Boufal, all around the team, they have some really good players. But I think this is going to be a step too far for him. I think the injury to Roman Saiz is going to be it's going to be a real key. He's had a really good tournament. He's rock solid. He's really good. Amrabat looks an exceptional talent, 26 years of age. Someone's got to take a punt on him. I think he's too good a player to be a bench player for someone like us. I think he's good enough to be playing in a Champions League, at a Champions League club, maybe even a last 16, last 8 Champions League club. But yeah, they're just a good side. They're an all-round good side, and they have all of those things combined with pace. That it will give every side trouble. But you look at what Portugal did tonight, and I think Portugal are a much better side without Cristiano Ronaldo in it. They're more fluid. And look, forget the fact I can't stand Ronaldo. You take him out the side, that Portuguese side looks so much more balanced. It looks clinical, looks fluid. You got so many players.
It looks like they're all pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, but you got players
there wasn't a lot of tonight. You didn't see Bruno Fernandes, throwing his hands up and whining and crying, like this sort of stuff that you've come to expect from a Portugal team that has Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, and Cristiano Ronaldo in it, like that petulant man-childishness. There wasn't a lot of that. I mean, it helps when you score 6 goals in a game, but they definitely look better without Ronaldo. The Canadian coverage post-game, they pretty much only talked about Ronaldo. Like in a 6-1 win for Spain and Gonzalo Ramos scoring a hat trick in the World Cup, given his first start in the tournament. And all they want to talk about is Ronaldo not being in the team. Of you didn't get the memo. Ronaldo's career at the top end of the game is done.
Oh, it's been done for about 3 years.
Yeah.
It's just the rest of the world hasn't been prepared to understand that yet.
Yeah, Jonathan Wilson from The Guardian was just, copping major abuse last year when he said the same thing about Manchester United, that they were a better team without Cristiano Ronaldo in it. And, people call him crazy, and then Ronaldo puts up, his regular 20 goals, and you can start to ask questions. But if you just watch them, you just know that that's the case. But what a debut start at a tournament for Cancelo Ramos. That third goal, that dink was gorgeous.
It was a lovely finish. And the thing is, you look at who they've left out. You had you've got the guy who's at Wolves, Gonzalo Guedes.
Oh, yeah. Out of the team, you mean, yeah.
Jota's not there either, And then you look at the depth that's there. Rafael Leao sat on the bench, comes on late and scores a lovely goal. It's like they have some serious quality and depth, and they have experience in the right areas at the back as well. But again, Pepe and Diaz, they have a good partnership. They're good at breaking the play up and stopping the threat. I mean, Ruben Diaz is a good centre-back as long as the game is in front of him. Ruben Diaz is the kind of centre-back you need to be able to turn him around.
Yeah.
If you can turn him around, he panics. We've seen that from Man City. We've seen that against Liverpool especially, that if you can make him turn around, you can get at him. Cancelo didn't play today. Whether that was just resting or what, I don't know. But the options they have to come on, I just don't see how Portugal don't win that. They'll be right up for this draw now after seeing the Spain got knocked out. Spain would be the kind of side that would frustrate the life out of Portugal.
Yeah.
Because
the ball from them.
Yeah, exactly. Making them chase them. That constant side to side, even if it's not threatening in behind, that constant having to chase the ball would drive them nuts. But I just think they'll have too much for Morocco. I mean, look, for Morocco to get to the last 8 of a World Cup is a phenomenal achievement. It really, really is. I remember when Ireland did it, when we did it in 1990 and got to the last 8 and got knocked out by Italy. It was a massive achievement for the country. And you can imagine the same in Morocco tonight. It's going to be the country's going to be a buzz. It's going to be mental. And come the time of the game when it kicks off, the players are just going to be so up for it. But I think Portuguese players have so many big game players that they'll just manage the expectations within themselves and say, okay, it's quarterfinal. Let's just go and win it. We're in the semi-final and we'll deal with that then.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference in the two. I think that's how Portugal will probably get, and I think they'll be fairly comfortable. I think it'll probably be 2-3-0, maybe 2-3-1, maybe. Could be more, but
Who was who played 6 for Portugal tonight? Was that another Danilo?
No, it was William Carvalho.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really good. And the thing is with Carvalho, he's really experienced. There was a lot of talk a few years ago about him going to West Ham. West Ham were prepared to pay something like 42, 43 million for him. And he's just he ain't the quickest. He's kind of like he's not in the Casemiro bracket, but he's in that level below where he's not quick, but he's good at reading the game, and he gives the ball to players who are better than him.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with having players like that on your side. And then when you want to change it, you can bring Vitinha off the bench, or you can play Ruben Neves. If you want to go that route as well, you can play him. He's had a good rest today, so came on for a few minutes at the end. They have serious options, man.
Yeah, it's going to come down to whether Morocco can continue.
Slim Biggins is just not taking It's like Argentina and Morocco to qualify double so far.
Yeah,
hey, if that happens, good. Fair play. If you can get on that, it'll be some double, I tell you.
Yeah, build that one up. Like Morocco, just a phenomenal defensive record, so far. The only goal they've conceded was an own goal, so nobody's been able to put the ball past them. The goalkeeper's going to have to be on absolute cloud 9 after his performance, that penalty shootout today, regardless of how terrible the 3 penalties were. I mean, unbelievable to have 2 saves and another one bounce off the post in a final. I'm wondering if Portugal goes back with Cancelo just to try to inject a little bit more creativity. knowing that Morocco is going to be so stubborn to break down. They're going to be organized in their ranks at the back. They got some big players in there to get, head the ball away and stuff like that. Wonder if just that little bit of extra devilment that comes from João Cancelo might be the tonic.
But I think where do you play him, on the right or the left? If you take Guerrero out or you take Diogo Dalot out, I mean, at the end of the day, Cancelo's better than both of them, so it wouldn't be a step down in any way. But it would be harsh on the two lads because Guerrero scored and Dalot created one. So, yeah. But it is a squad game, and he might just say, "Okay, you will rest one of you, and on the hour, one of you is coming on to replace the other one, and just play it that way."
Yeah. It's it just seems like Portugal's going to have far too much for them. But I mean, it would be lovely if Morocco's dream run could continue. So I'm sure there'd be a few national holidays declared by the king. Yeah, I saw somebody in the chat earlier. I don't know if it was a joke or not, saying that the king's going to charter a bunch of private planes to fly their fans over. Like,
well, he's already done. He's already done it today. I think he had 3 extra flights come in from Morocco today. And look, fair play.
If you have to have a king anyways, they should at least every so often throw a bone to the peasants and throw them onto a private plane and take them out to the World Cup. But I mean, it is fantastic. Somebody up there just said, G10 said that, Morocco today is what the World Cup is all about. This is what you want to see. You want to see that nation that gets to have that moment, like Saudi Arabia got after beating Argentina. In the end, it 100%. Means nothing, but those people have that memory forever, and it just helps build.
Cameroon beating Brazil. We had it in '94 when we beat Italy. It's World Cup moments is what fans treasure for the rest of their days.
Yeah. You look Senegal 2002 against France, and a member of that team is now the coach of Senegal at the World Cup. So
exactly,
that's how your legacies are built. So the winner of the Portugal-Morocco game will take on the winner of the big one, England-France, quarterfinals of the World Cup. Got a tasty ring to it.
It does. I mean, the thing is, it's a massive game in its own right anyway. England and France always is. There's no surprises in any of the two lineups when they play each other because they know each other so well. They come across each other either in the league or in the Champions League on a regular basis. So for me, this is France go into it as favourites, but it's far from a foregone conclusion that France run out the winners in it. It's you're never. It's like Thor saying that. We see. Look, I personally don't. Me and Chris were talking about this earlier, and it's like Southgate and Deschamps are two naturally conservative coaches. When it boils down to it, they are very risk averse in situations where they're evenly matched. But France have the X factor of a Kylian Mbappé, Antoine Griezmann, Ousmane Dembélé to individually change games. But England have that in players too. They have that in Bukayo Saka. They have it in Harry Kane. They have it in Phil Foden if
Jordan
he plays, Jack Grealish.
Henderson.
Jordan Henderson was brilliant the other night. I was really impressed with him. But the thing is, you look at the way the two sides have lined up throughout the tournament. England have lined up consistently with 4-3-3. France have consistently lined up at 4-2-3-1, with Antoine Griezmann having that free role behind Olivier Giroud, and Mbappe on one side with Dembélé playing as your traditional really wide winger.
Yeah,
he doesn't come inside. He stays wide. If he could go any wider, he would. But he's so comfortable on either foot. He's a brilliant player in really good form as well, managing to stay fit for once, which is really good.
Yeah.
But the battle for me in this game, it's not so much Kylian Mbappe, because Mbappe is going to have moments in every game. He always does. He's always going to have chances and moments. And he could do nothing for 70 minutes and then pop up and get a brace in 5 minutes. That's just the kind of player he is. But it's the midfield battle with England's 3, which I think will include Jordan Henderson. I think he'll go the same again. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
Exact same 11.
I think he'll go the same midfield. I don't know if he'll go with the same 11, but I think he'll go with the same midfield for sure. Jordan Henderson, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham. Because it has a really good balance. You've got your sitter, you've got your box-to-box, and you've got your one who can go on and run in advance of your forwards in Jude Bellingham. And it'll be those three against the two French in Tchouaméni and Rabiot. And can those three keep those two quiet and starve the French of the ball in the kind of areas that they want to play in? That's for me is where the game is won and lost. It's and also is Deschamps brave enough to play Griezmann in that free role, or will he revert to type and go with a third man in midfield and match England up that way? I don't know. I mean, I don't think the two centre backs will be overly concerned. They'll obviously be worried, but they'll have faced Olivier Giroud for years. They know exactly what he brings to the table. There's nothing new in Olivier Giroud's game that has miraculously transformed him by going to AC Milan. He's not changed that much. So it's the other side. It's Dembele and it's Griezmann. It's Dembele and Mbappé. What they offer a side going forward is pure raw pace and power on one side and trickery and abundance on the other side. But then you look at England and you're saying, okay, where do they? Harry Kane drops in to make it another extra player in midfield where you've got Saka, maybe Rashford or Foden or whoever he plays up front, making runs in behind and creating problems for the French that way. The other side of it is France will probably go with Varane at the back rather than Konate. You'll go with Varane and Upamecano. And you'd look at those two and you think, yeah, they can be got at. They're really good players. They are really good players, but they can be got at. And Hugo Lloris definitely has a rick in him. 100% Hugo Lloris has a rick in him. Also, all stats said, France are favourites, and France should win. And I think they probably will win, but I don't think it's good. I don't think it'll be a massive runaway. But as far as I know, when it comes to World Cup games, and I'm open to be corrected, I don't think France have ever beaten England in a World Cup.
Really?
No. The last time they played was, I think it might have been 86. England won 2-1, I think. 2 or 3-1. Brian Robson was scored. But, no, it could have been 82. Not sure. But it's France, like I said, France have the quality to win. The other side of it as well, France playing, they're not playing with a traditional right back. They're playing with, what's his name? The centre back that Barca just signed.
Oh, Jules
from
Koundé.
Seville. Jules Koundé on one side. Theo Hernandez on the other side is phenomenal fullback. Man. He'll bomb on and he will create havoc down that right hand side, down England's right hand side, France's left hand side. But on the other side, Jules Koundé won't go forward. He won't get too involved in it. They'll almost play with a back three when they're attacking, and then a back four when they're defending. The question, the other question, as G10 makes a good point. No, but I just saw 66 and thought Trent.
Those are the two times England played France, I believe.
66 and 86. If England play a back five with Kyle
Walker, what Morton is thinking.
With Kyle Walker being a third centre back, I think if they do that, I think you have to play with Trent as a right wing back. I think Trippier is a good fullback. I think Trent offers you so much more with the ball. And if England play with a back five, they have to be direct. And if you play with a back five against this France side, the game is in front. They'll just spread. They'll pull the midfield three apart.
Yeah.
And they'll just play the games on the wings. And I think ultimately, eventually, you'll fall up. You'll get beat. I think England's best chance is to play 4-3-3 and just eventually go for it. But I think France have too much. They have too many answers to anything that England can throw at them. But there's game winners and goal scorers on both sides. England have been scoring well in this tournament. They've been.
Yeah.
I think they're the tournament's top scorers, if not, maybe not now after Portugal played, but they're one of the tournament's top scorers, and they've only conceded 2 as far as I know.
They're level on goals scored with Portugal on 12.
Yeah, and the thing is, you look at it. I think they conceded 2 against Iran, both of them late on, and one of them was really dubious.
Yeah.
So they have chance for sure, but France should have enough to win it, and that opens up the draw. Then, when you look at it, you look at potential of France-Portugal, and one half for one semi-final, and the other semi-final Argentina. Sorry, I think the Netherlands against Brazil.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a pretty good little run of knockout football here. I mean, 4 games, not thinking there's going to be any draws. It's bound to be one of these games. Which one of these games is most likely to end up being a draw?
I suppose Argentina and the Netherlands has the potential to be really tight.
Yeah.
They could cancel each other out. I don't see Portugal and Morocco being anything close. I think Brazil are just looking really good. When they're on it, they look like they're really enjoying it as well. They look like, all the furore about them dancing for the celebrations and the goals and all that. That's samba football. That's what you pay to see. Yeah. But they look like they're enjoying playing with each other, and they look supremely confident. Ultimately, G10, that would be the ultimate final for a football fan. Repeat of the 98 final from France.
It's got to be Argentina Portugal final. Ronaldo versus Messi, one last time. Winner gets the World Cup. Loser has to retire on the spot. Like an old-fashioned loser has to leave town wrestling match.
If you gave Triple H any ideas, it'd be like the Bret Hart Toronto Screwjob all over again.
That's right. Yeah, that's Ronaldo's next career moves. He's going to join the WWE and fully embrace the comic book lifestyle.
Morton makes a point there. England, France might go to penalties. It could do. I think people are too quick to dismiss England's chances in this game because France are just riddled with stars, and you've got the Mbappé factor. You have to factor that in.
Well, as it stands, he's the best player in the world right now.
Oh yeah, he is.
He looks like he has the world at his feet. He broke onto the world stage at the last World Cup, becoming, youngest scorer at a World Cup?
Yeah.
Or youngest scorer in a World Cup final, maybe whatever it is, but now he's ready to take that next step. And to me, this is the moment, in 10, 15 years, you'll look back and go, when did the Ronaldo Messi era end? And the Mbappé, Holland or Mbappé, whoever era, Darwin Núñez era start. I'm being very optimistic with that.
There's the Mbappé, and let's be honest, no one else is close.
Yeah.
No one else
is close. And I
think
the way he's playing, I would see joint top scorer in the tournament currently, and he looks to have that leadership ability of just give me the ball, I'll get us over the line. And he can just turn something out of absolutely nothing. He's such a brilliant player to watch, and it really feels like this could be his tournament. And from the start, it was hard to discount France as potential winners, regardless of what I would have liked.
The one thing we haven't talked about is the effect that Jude Bellingham could have on this game.
Yeah, that England midfield going up against, because if we presume that both teams are going to go with the same lineups that they've fielded in their competitive games that they've played, not games where you're bringing in wholesale changes at the end of a group stage. England's midfield, Rice, Bellingham, and Henderson, they're going to need to have a fantastic game. Henderson is going to need to have a prime Henderson performance. Declan Rice is going to need to restart the rumors of him being worth £100 million, or there's a lot of young kids that are taking the world by storm at this tournament. And Jude Bellingham could be the next one in that. If you look at how Musiala played, the 2 young kids playing for Spain in the midfield, Vinicius Jr. is still crazy young. And, these are some of the, Cody Gakpo, there's another young player that are these are the names this tournament that have really jumped out and kind of stolen the headlines.
For me, Mohammed Kudus has been exceptional.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed watching him. There is a good crop of young players coming through, but I think the gap between that crop of players and Mbappé is ridiculous. And my hope is that he leaves PSG. Whether he goes to Spain or comes to England, I don't care. For what, as a football fan, I want to see him playing at the highest level against the best competition for as long as possible to see how good really is he. Because I don't believe that playing in France is going to get the best out of him.
Yeah, you really want to see him playing slightly stronger competition, slightly more meaningful games on a more regular basis. There's only so much, games against Angers and Toulouse and stuff like that. Like, let's see him try to play straight in one of the big leagues.
Yeah,
in Europe.
I mean,
and I think he will. I mean,
I
why
hope he
would
does.
he want to? He's got a legacy.
Exactly. I mean, I'm looking there now. They're showing on Sky the French top scorers list, and when you look at the players that he's gone ahead of, Olivier Giroud, 117 caps, strike rate of 1 in every 2.2 goals. Thierry Henry, 51 goals, 123 caps. So Giroud has got there faster. Antoine Griezmann on 42, Michel Platini on 41, Karim Benzema on 37, David Trezeguet on 34. To think that David Trezeguet is on 34 goals and Olivier Giroud is way out in front on 52. Give the man his props, man. Olivier Giroud is a proper striker. And he was almost like the +1 when he was at Arsenal. He was the +1 when he was at Chelsea. But for France, I think he's the perfect striker for Kylian Mbappé to play with.
Yeah,
he absolutely is.
There's something just criminally underrated about Olivier Giroud. Like, in a North American context, it's like when a guy retires and gets put into the Hall of Fame of whatever sport they played, and you see the names of the guys inducted in that year, and you're like, who is this? And then you look at the numbers beside it, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot he was really good for a really long time.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, becoming France's all-time leading international goal scorer, that's a massive accomplishment. Like, it's, in terms of the size of feathers you can put in your own cap, they don't get a lot bigger than that.
And to think that he did it faster than Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
When we hold Thierry Henry up as being one of the best strikers of his generation, the best forwards of his generation. I know Thierry played a lot of games for France as a right winger. It wasn't until he moved to Arsenal that he developed into being a forward that scored goals.
But your right winger doesn't score 30 goals a season? Come on.
That's
30 from right wing.
That's not for everyone these days. You know the score.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good little roundup we had there, Kev. We've got a couple of well-earned days off here. So
yeah, I got to catch up on so much stuff, man. My FIFA has been definitely neglected for the last 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm going to be
a whole bunch of cool World Cup packs that you've missed out on because you've been busy doing watch-alongs.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I got to try to throw a quiz together for Thursday night, so I believe that's the plan. I'm not sure if there's going to be a show tomorrow, but I'm planning on having an interactive quiz for everybody on Thursday. I have yet to decide the difficulty of the quiz. We might err on the side of easy. We might err on the side of difficult. Who knows? But
yeah, I'm not involved in that one at all. Thank God you say it.
Yeah, well, I gotta have something to do to help out with the show. Can't do much in terms of the watch along. So,
oh man, I'll tell you, I'm really enjoying doing them, and seeing some of the people who are in the chat here are really, they're in the chat for the watch alongs as well. Veranda Cheese. Now I'm on Xbox now, mate. I was on PlayStation for a good few years, but I'm on Xbox now, and it's completely different game. But yeah, Matt will be here Thursday night for his interactive quiz, and that'll be good. That'll be really good because if it's one thing in the summer, I really enjoy doing them. It's like you realize how much you think you know and how much you really know.
Yeah, and when you've got 5 or 6 seconds to pick an answer real quick, and that the counter's going down on you, all of a sudden, all that knowledge just seems to just elude you for that critical moment. So, but
it'll be good.
I don't know.
It'll be good for sure.
I'm getting to the point now where I am desperately missing watching Liverpool and having fresh Liverpool stuff to talk about because pretty quiet on that front lately. You know, with the exception of
some of the pictures come out with Naby in training. Just hope that everyone remembers to pick the soap up in the shower and nobody slips, trips, and falls, and all that kind of good stuff.
Keep him away from any sort of stairs or whatever it was that he fell down before United this year. Yeah. He's going to be like a new signing. Yeah, he's going to take the world by storm in that League Cup game against City when we get back.
You know what? I would love absolutely nothing more than to be completely 100% wrong on what he does between now and the end of the season. Nothing would give me absolutely more joy than to be completely wrong and have egg all over my face. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. If you haven't already, please hit the like button on your way out, subscribe bell, notification icon, and all that good stuff. Check out Lydia's GoFundMe page. She's had her surgery. She's hopefully on the mend now. Just needs a few more dollars to get her to her fundraising goal, and that's all well and taken care of. Other than that, thanks for watching tonight. We'll see you guys around on Thursday for quiz night.